we're going to continue to complain and complain year after year. Ain't shit going to happen. Nothing is going to change. So we see it. I mean, come on. How many years got to pass by for people to realize it? Nothing is going to happen as long as this system is in place. It's not. Plain and simple. These congressmen, they're not just going to have a change of heart, you know, overnight. It's not going to happen, you know. So you look at the system. You look at the record for the system. You look at everything that has been passed. And as I said, the problem is, one, you have the people who can actually make change, that they're keeping them happy. They're benefiting from this government. As I said before, a lot of white people are hesitant to really push for real change, the people who can actually do something, because they're scared. They don't know what America is going to be like. And they know they have privilege. And they want to keep that privilege deep down. They just want things to change. Well, we want to keep white privilege, but we want y'all to stop, you know, killing black folks, because, you know, they're making us all look bad, or I'm starting to feel guilty about it. You have groups out there, you know, of white folks pushing for reparations for slavery, pushing for land to be given back to black people. You have the uncovering, one, not just by Native Americans, but by a lot of white scholars who's telling them straight up, hey, the black people, the Africans, are the real Native Americans. Yeah, the Native Americans who we see are Native Americans, but you can't deny that Africans was there before them. I mean, that's just, come on, the proof is it's already been proven. So we look at it and they say, well, we can't allow Native Americans to pay taxes because this is their land. Wait a minute, this is our land. And this is why so many things have been covered up, because legally, if you're going to give that, you know, right to the Native Americans, you have to give it to African Americans as well who was here, which is why they want to say we all came on a boat from Africa, which we know that's just not true. Columbus wrote in his diary himself that Africans was here. They found the remains already here. The Olmec statues alone just tell you. Come on. So we being fucked. It's just not going to change. And nothing we do is going to change that unless, you know, everybody wake the fuck up, stop fighting over stupid stuff, and come together and look at the real issues. We're going to forever be arguing back and forth. They playing this like ping pong, and they just destroying everything until, you know, they reach their final goal. It's frustrating when you see it. And people want to talk about, you know, stupid shit. And that's why I get frustrated. You know, people want to harp on what I'm doing when I'm actually one who's trying to fix things and help people. And it's crazy. Like I said, it's a mindset. It's something that I understand internally, but, you know, it still frustrates me as a person. You know, it's frustrating. It's like, damn, all the shit going on, and you want to jump on here and get on me about what I'm doing. What am I doing? It's so awful. It's crazy. When people need to get a life, get off my channel, go somewhere else. Plenty of people on YouTube. You can go to their channel. You can do whatever they're doing. And some people put out videos and they charge absolutely nothing. It's on YouTube for free. You don't got to buy my DVDs. You don't got to buy the downloads. So it's probably best for you to go there and come here complaining like, you know, stupid people. But, you know, it's crazy. I understand frustration. I understand people who have a legitimate beef or argument. You can always email me at theroadmerkabah@gmail.com. And if I had time to read it, I will read it. But if it's a legitimate argument, I'm all for it. I will discuss it. We can talk it out. That's just how I do it. It's just easier that way. But, you know, some people want to get a thumbs up. They want to comment, you know, because they had a bad day or because, you know, they're feeling bad about themselves or what have you. So I don't know. Some people want pats on the back for the little stupid shit that they do. And it is what it is on that. But, you know, I can only do, you know, what I can do to try to rectify the situation as far as what they're doing and blocking me. So, you know, I only can do what I can do. And this is, you know, the way I feel. I'm trying to do something, and it is what it is. If I'm paying money for them to do something, they're not really doing it, you know, I don't really know, you know, so I have to, you know, hope there is and pay the money. But I can also do this as well and try to, you know, promote and get people to see what's out. Because shit, if you ain't seen the whole Saturn Satan series, you're missing out. If you ain't seen all of Metal Netter, or especially the mystery schools, I mean, come on. If you've seen 4 and 3, you know what I'm talking about. It'll blow your mind away. But it's stuff that you got to see. You know, you need to see this stuff. But definitely check it out. And you know, I hate distractions. You know, I hate to have to talk about this in a video that I really want to focus on. You know, the Senate and Congress, what have you. But it kind of sort of go hand in hand. where you have people talking about stupid shit, blocking you from real facts and things that really matter. It's just like with this Congress and what we have been seeing and going through in America. And you people can relate, people can relate and they can look at it and see. I know a lot of you turn on the TV and you say, what the fuck is they talking about? Why are we talking about this? Why is the news talking about stupid shit when we have so much crazy stuff going on? And now you have this hurricane coming. I don't even want to try to pronounce the name. Irma, whatever the fuck it's called. Another hurricane coming, about to completely decimate Florida. It's down there now near Puerto Rico. I got people in PR. Hopefully y'all cool, people who I know. And Dominican Republic. And if you in Florida, my cousin B Wild, people who I know down there, get out of there. Seriously, get out of Florida. They talking about it consuming Florida and destroying that whole, the coast or what have you. Who knows? It's one of those things where you can't really predict what it's really going to do or the direction it's going to go. But I always say, better safe than sorry. If it's coming to Florida, if you are able to evacuate, I would just say get out. Go as far north as you can, chill until it's blown over, and then go back. It's just that easy. At least, you'll be safe. So you got to understand, a lot of people don't understand how this system works. If we're going to actually have change, if we're going to actually, make something happen to benefit us, we have to go through Congress. We have to go through the Senate. We have to speak to them and get these people to make the change happen for us the way it's supposed to go down. This is what these people are elected for. They work for us. So if we want this stuff to happen, we got to go to them. But if they already have a mindset, if they are already bought and sold, and they have this mindset of screw the people, now what? What are we going to do? So you got to understand, it starts with them. We're not even starting with them. We are listening to a couple people who are paid to get up there and say bullshit stuff against the system. Oh, the system is this. You're wrong. These people go on rants and, cuss out the rest of the Senate and Congress. But they still keep their jobs. They still keep their seat, and nothing ever changes. And they somehow don't seem to affect the rest of the people. Congress, again, the Senate is WWE. The shit is all smoke and mirrors and nothing gets done. You mean to tell me they can't look at the police shootings and act on that and say, well, we need to come together and do something and come up with a new law for these cops to stop killing these black folks? You don't think they can do that? You don't think they can look at the system and say, well, it's crazy. Minimum wage is definitely too low. People need to get paid more. It's going to boost the economy and help everybody out. No, they don't do that. People don't understand the point of having senators, governors, and mayors and congressmen or what have you. The whole point is one, and so the government don't get too big. And the government is gigantic right now. It's Titanic. It's too big. They are in too many facets of our life. They are not supposed to be, having their hands in the school system. They already have their hands in the banking system, which so many presidents warn of. If we let this system grab control of the bank, it's going to be horrible. And that's exactly what they did. They have their hands in marriage. They have their hands in too many different things, too many aspects of human life where they shouldn't have, no place in. They shouldn't be able to kick in your door anytime they want to or stop and frisk you without probable cause. If you ain't just come from robbing the damn bank that they can prove, they shouldn't be stopping you and messing with you. It just can't be done. And they're infringing on too many real basic human rights, that you have, devoid of any type of government system. When I look at cops just come up to somebody and stop them, and it's harassment to me. I ain't do nothing. You fit a description. Prove I fit the description. That's crazy. I mean, you can't walk down the street and be minding your business and not get bothered by a cop or not be looked at as a potential, burglar or a robber or a murderer or a suspect. It's crazy, just because you're black or whatever color you is. It's crazy for them to have the power to do that. It's crazy. So, we got to understand all this stuff goes back into this government system who has their hands in too many cookie jars that we got to deal with. That's bogus. And so many people are preaching smaller government. We got to get them out of so many different systems. And you got to understand the setup, and they do so many things and allow so many things to happen so they can intervene. And by them intervening, they can creep into many different aspects of our life. So you had a lot of people, after they caused the Great Depression, remember they caused that to happen. But you had a lot of people now because of that say, hey, we need help. We need money. The government needs to do something. There's people starving in the street. Gotcha. So we got the welfare program. We got all these programs now so they can jump into different facets of our life. They can take your kids now. They can intervene in your marriage, take your house, own your land. Now they can mess with your cattle, your farming, something that is as old as American, as human life itself. The government got their hands in farming. Come on. Think about that. They got their hands in farming. That's crazy. So you can't even grow crops. You can't even collect rainwater in certain states. This shit is crazy. And people just, when the next episode of Power coming on? When Game of Thrones coming on? Racism. When these motherfuckers stopping you from getting rainwater. Come on, man. It just goes to people who just argue and talk about shit that don't matter. That's just so small. And I don't like to really, pick at, because I understand these people. I understand, what's wrong with them. They don't like their life. They're having problems, financial or personal. And a lot of people just want to complain. I get that. But you got to watch where you're complaining. You got to understand you need to complain to something that is actually worth complaining about. And, the easiest target is the person who care about you the most. And that's the thing, when people want to hurt somebody, they usually hurt somebody who's close to them. Everybody's been through that in relationships. People have been through that with their parents. Parents pissed, it's get away from mom. I remember growing up with my mom. If my mom ain't had no cigarettes, get the fuck out the house. It's over. She was crazy then. So, I remember we used to run around, like make sure we had money to get her some cigarettes because my mom had cigarettes. She would go on a rampage. So it's people just have personal issues and they don't know how to handle it, and people have frustration, so they take it out on whatever. I mean, I understand that, I accept that, but I still reserve the right to defend myself and to respond to anybody's negative allegations, if not for anything, to just get the truth out there and to get people to understand what's going on, even though I know I don't have to. But sometimes you have to, because the way this society is built, the way our minds are being controlled right now, if you don't defend yourself in this day and age, you tend to be wrong. The person who's making the accusations tend to be accepted as a truther or somebody who's, putting out truth. And, all they're really looking for is a pat on the back and a thumbs up. And, you get people who don't understand what's going on and actually give them that, who might feel the same way but don't want to say anything, do that. So it's just how it is. But we just argue about shit that don't really matter. And we need to pay attention to what's going on. And, this government is ballooning out of control. And the whole point, the purpose of us electing these officials is to make sure that does not happen. That is their job. That's what they are supposed to do, to make sure they have the best interests of the people and to not allow the government to infiltrate, our everyday lives. That's the whole purpose of the Senate and the Congress, to do what the people want, and it's not happening. I got a lot of people off of the last couple videos I released talking about all this stuff. A lot of people just have solutions. A lot of people ask questions. This is it right here. This is what you need to realize. One, that these are the problems. The government can fix them, and they won't. If we don't change the system, nothing is going to change. If the system is not dealt with first, nothing else will happen. So when we look at all these people that's coupled with this system, this whole media, conglomerate that's controlling and instigating all this shit that we see, they're involved in this whole government system. And we don't look at this stuff too as well and understand that, the same people that's in government own these corporations, and, they have their hands in so many different pots. And if we don't realize that and understand that all this stuff is connected, and, you got to cut off the head first to deal with the rest of that stuff. And that's going straight to the system and straight to government and dealing with that. Because then it's a trickle down effect. We cut them off, or we control the government, then we can fix everything else. And that's the thing. And, people just don't understand the power of the people and what we have to do. And the only way to fix it is unity, because everybody got to come together. So that's my point. So, it's one of those things where you got to look at the common good. You got to look at the overall good and say, well, in order to fix this, we got to come together. We got to put things to the side. We have a bigger common enemy that we need to be dealing with instead of arguing with each other. So distractions to keep us away from the real boogeyman, the real problem, which is this government system. And I always go back to it. I don't care what people want to say. I mean, I talk about Black history or what have you and everything like that, but I always come back to this government system because I understand it's the main problem. When I put out videos about racism and everything, I always talk about unity. I talk about the government is dividing and conquering us. It's the real problem. So you can feel the way you feel, say what you want to say. You can have hate in your heart, but when it gets down to it, if you actually really want change and you really want stuff to change and stop and be fixed, it begins with the government. So we need to have our attention focused on real things that really matter. Everybody's attention should be focused on the news media and focused on this government system as far as saying, y'all bullshitters, y'all assholes, y'all ain't doing what y'all supposed to do, y'all need to go. People need to be looking into trying to find a way to get rid of this entire system. Is it something we can do as a people to just overhaul the entire government system and get rid of these things, to fix these things? So we're looking at the situation as it being complicated. You know, we need Congress to get rid of the Federal Reserve. We got to do this and do that. And we are the people. This is our country. The country belongs to us. We understand what they did to us. We need to come together and change that and put the system in a position where it's going to benefit us. It's just that simple. But if you're distracted by TV shows and entertainment, if you're distracted by racism and stupid shit, if you're distracted by having to pay bills or what have you and go to work, then you're not going to be focused on these things. We can change all of our lives and get everybody out of poverty fast. And that's what people need to be focused on. Anybody putting together a plan or trying to formulate any kind of strategy in America to fix America, the only thing you need to be thinking about is changing the system. It's the only way it's going to get fixed. You can come up with any kind of plan you want. You have to present it before the very people who you're trying to get the change from. The very people who are oppressing you. The very people who are responsible for anything, any problems in your life. So if we don't get rid of that, it's never going to change. It's easy. So, you know, our focus is misled. It's being led to stupid shit that don't matter, that's not going to ever change anything. And it's frustrating when, you know, you have a good day and the day is good, or you have a good day at work, you're just out, you're having fun, you're having a good time, and then you have to come home and sit in front of the news and see this bullshit. And it's just like, you know, it takes away from it. It takes away from your experience here. It takes away from anything you're trying to do positive, you know, and it's frustrating when you see it. And it's something that we just shouldn't have to deal with and don't have to deal with. But people are afraid of change. People are scared of real work. You know, people don't want to support anything that has to do with change. A lot of people just want to bitch and complain. We have been conditioned to do that. We have been conditioned to complain about anybody that's doing anything outside of what we think they should be doing. And sometimes people just want to complain for, you know, no reason at all. One of the good things it's doing is getting religious people to question their religion and to really think about what they believe in. Because as I said before, if you think it's right for this stuff to be going down, you need to question your God, who supposedly, you know, is responsible for all this stuff. So if you are religious, you can't really be complaining about what you're seeing because it's a part of your God's plan, right? So why are you complaining about Trump or anything else? Why are you complaining about black people being killed? Why are you complaining about this and that when this is supposed to be a part of God's divine plan? Now, if you think this plan is sick, then you ought to question religion. And I'm always going to attack religion, always, as long as it exists. Some people always say, well, you're always going after the Bible, because you need to understand what it's really talking about, what it's really trying to tell you, and not what you have been brainwashed to accept. And that's what I do, and other people as well. Never going to stop doing that. Most of my videos are always going to be about the Bible, about religion. It just is, because as much output as they're putting out to sucker people in, you know, new people are being born into this crap. You know, we need to have that much material out there to combat it. Much people getting turned onto Islam and turned onto these religions in prison. We need to have the help for them for when they come out. And it needs to be out there. This content needs to be out there. We can keep on protesting. We can keep on doing what we've been doing over the years, but we can see now. By now you can see. It's not going to stop. It's not going to change. We have to take a different approach. And this is what I'm speaking to on others as well. We need to start looking at this stuff and saying, this system is the problem. You know, racism is a distraction. Plain and simple. If you are white and you understand what's going on, you can look at the problem and see that it's a problem. If you are silent about that problem, then you are racist as well. If you're going to shut up and just say, oh, well, I see it's a problem, but I don't want to say nothing about it, how are you're an accomplice to racism. You know, you need to speak on the issue and say, hey, this shit is not right. And again, if you are not oppressing black people, if you are not a racist, then you shouldn't speak on what black people are doing to combat racism or anybody else is doing to combat racism. You know, why should you speak against what they're doing if you're not racist? So, you know, these are distractions. These are things we got to deal with. And we got to get through all that to get to the real problem, which is this system. So any plan that's going to be formulated, we got to look at this system first. You know, and sometimes it's overwhelming and it feels like it's not ever going to happen or nothing is ever going to change. It seems like it's a plan in place to just completely get rid of black folks, which is why I'm trying to develop people spiritually as well to understand this is the route you need to go, because these people look like they're trying to wipe us out. And, you know, you got black people who act like they just don't care. So, yeah, wanted to make this quick video and get into this stuff. But, you know, I want to thank you guys for taking the time to watch. Thanks to everybody who support and understand what I'm doing. And I see you guys next video.
Thank you.